peeps? Welcome back. This is Wes. You're one of your co-hosts from the Prattle. This is episode 31. We don't have a guest for you today, so I'm sure you've been waiting. We've had a lot of guests lately. It's just us. It's back to being us. And for you real peepies, you know that's when the best content comes out. But for you guys, we have a special little segment here for you. We've gone through 30 episodes, and it has been a wild ride. And we're going to give you a state of the union of sorts. Just an update on who we are, what we've done, and our plans for the future.
Yeah, exactly. We've come a long way since we started in your basement. What do you think, Wes?
Yeah, first episode, yeah. You might not want to listen to that one.
Right. Good thing it's actually not on iTunes, so it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah, that somehow just magically disappeared.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, like Wes was saying, we've gone so far in this short amount of time, but man, we're not stopping anytime soon.
That's right. And when we started out, it was kind of like a rinky-dink operation. We each had our own rinky-dink mics, and we were just in my basement on my pool table, just shooting the bull and saying whatever. But now we're in a legit studio. We're 30 episodes in, and this has been really something.
It has been. And from the time we had our first guest on, our first actual athlete come on, sorry Ben, sorry Kyle, whoever the guys were beforehand, but when we had Nick Carlson on, that was like a month and a week ago, 5 weeks ago about, and we've had over 10 guests on, lots of big name basketball players, basketball recruits, obviously Nick Carlson, and like we keep saying, we'll keep going. We'll keep pushing. We've got the foot on the gas. That we always say, foot on the gas. And yeah, our social media has been blowing up. We're just about to 1,000 followers on Instagram, which has been super cool. That's kind of how we are able to reach out to our guests. And it's just been a wild ride. It's been so much fun. I think that's been the number one thing for me.
Yeah, and it's been really fun, as you said, doing these guests. And as you guys probably noticed, we started out with these Michigan guys. And if you're not a Michigan guy, I apologize for that. But that's what opened the door for us, honestly. We had Nick Carlson come on, and that kind of opened the door for Michigan. We got a couple Michigan guys on. But as you can tell, we've branched out into a UCLA commit, uncommitted guys, and we got some big guys dropping in some upcoming episodes, right?
That's right. In the near future, we've got a lot more guys coming on. So, guys, stay up. First of all, you need to subscribe because then you can get them. But yeah, we've got today. It's just the guys, but we definitely have some big name guests coming.
Yeah, and they're coming in. We promise we're going to branch off from basketball guys, and we're going to branch off from Michigan guys. Right now, our strategy is we're going to get who we can get so that we get some listens, we get some attention, we get our name out. But we're going to get to some high-profile guests. I think if we're being fair, LeBron is the dream. I want to have LeBron on.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we're going for LeBron. Let's say over under a year and a half.
I mean, I want to be optimistic.
Way under.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So next week, watch out for the LeBron episode. Yeah, he's doing a lot of crazy media stuff out there in LA. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, and I think we want to recognize two people that we've added onto our team here at the Prattle. One is our producer, Aaron DeBuitenhuis. He has been so generous to let us use the studio and him editing our stuff. It's been great. He's been wonderful. He's dealt with us, and he has a busy schedule, and he has done everything for us, so we can't thank him enough. And also, Primetime. You guys probably heard him a lot on this pod. Primetime, Mac Robertson. He is our social media director. He does everything with our Instagram page, our Twitter page, making these videos, coming up with ideas. So yeah, he's done a great job. We're thankful to have him on board.
Right, it's a team effort. We're a conglomerate of talent that comes together to give you the best growing podcast, sports podcast on the ether.
That's right, and best up yet.
Best up yet. 31. Right. Best up yet.
Exactly. So, guys, that's a little bit what the Prattle is looking like. We are so excited for what the future holds. Obviously, we're all college students, so our college days are going to be coming pretty quick. But that doesn't mean the Prattle is stopping. No way. We are making time for this because we love it. We love doing this. We love having interviews. We love talking about sports. And we can't wait to keep pumping out great content during the school year as well.
Right. In the school year, we obviously won't be all together. We won't exactly be in a studio, but we're going to do all that we can do to keep pumping out quality episodes. We're going to keep having guests. We're going to keep having great content. We're going to keep putting out episodes once or twice a week. So it's not going to change. The audio quality might be different. A couple things might be different, but we're still going to give you episodes.
Exactly. And I definitely cannot wait. It's really cool how we're able to do that. That's kind of how we started. So to go back to kind of doing that will be a lot of fun. And, just getting back to school, I think all of us can agree that college is a fun time. And sure, we love being together, but it's going to be also a cool transition kind of moving back into college life.
Right. And what comes back with college season and moving back is football season.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Oh, man. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a second.
Give me that mic. But yeah, football season is back. But before we go back to school, we're using this summer to try to propel ourselves forward. And along with bringing on guests and adding people to the team, we're trying to build the brand. We're throwing in logos. We're trying to make our social media professional. We're trying to get you guys resources everywhere. We got Podbean. We got Apple Music. We have plenty of platforms to listen to us. We have a website. We're just trying to build us up for success for the school year.
Yeah, for sure. And we also have Spotify as well. Just all of these different. Oh wait, shoot. So, did you say Spotify before?
No, thank you for saying that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so we're literally anywhere that we can get to you. We're gonna be able to. You're gonna be able to listen to the Prattle, which is really cool.
Yeah, and Peepees, we wouldn't be here without you guys. You guys have been giving us tons of feedback, and we appreciate it. We could always use some more. And you guys keep us going. We put out content, we create new things, come up with different ideas just for you. So we appreciate you, and just keep listening. Tell your friends about us.
Right. I have to be honest, I've been really touched by you, the PPs. You really mean a lot to me. You really touch my heart and my soul. And without you guys, we wouldn't be here.
That's right. You see, you got to get personal with them.
Yeah,
you do.
right.
We're just, obviously, if you haven't noticed yet, PPs, we're just normal guys. Like, we don't have anything special. We're not great athletes by any means, but we do have a passion for sports. Wes thinks he's a good athlete.
People forget
What?
that I played, loosely. I retired from Division I college football. So every week you're getting a college athlete on the show. See, that's pretty rare.
I guess so. We'll roll with that.
I'm pretty much like Golick.
The ex-athlete, and all of us are just the collective Wingo/Greenberg.
Yes.
Okay. Whatever. Is that why you also don't know as much about sports as we do?
Easy killer.
All right, guys. So one thing that is going on, I think we're going to transition a little bit back into the sports. But guys, thanks for listening to our State of the Prattle Union, so to speak. We just kind of wanted to touch you guys up on what's going on with us. And yeah, in the future, we will be doing more of that. Just guys, keeping you guys updated, being real with you guys. But right now, it's the NBA Summer League. And people think that it's not a big deal, but it's really, really cool watching these guys, like literally a month after they're drafted, less than that, playing for their respected teams. And they're most of the top-ranked rookies that got the chance to play showed out. And I think we're going to highlight a couple of these guys. Who wants to go first on who stood out to them in the Summer League?
I'll go.
Okay.
And this guy is a guy that you wouldn't think would be a fan favorite, only because of the fans who also booed one of the greats in today's game. That's right, we're talking about Kevin Knox being booed by the New York Knicks fans when he got drafted. That boy is showing out in the Summer League. He's putting in work day in and day out. He's averaging 23 points a game and 7 rebounds, and you see him on the highlight reel every night, every time they have a game with some ferocious slam. I mean, this guy, for Knicks fans, you got to be eating those boos, man. You got to stop doing that, or keep doing it because he's
right.
Good.
I think the reason why they boo now is just so the boo is going to equal another Kristaps Porzingis.
It's superstition.
It is. It really is. Did you see the guy that was like the guy crying and leading the boos? The little kid for Kristaps was there again booing Kevin Knox just to kind of give the mojo back. But yeah, Deans, like you said, Kevin Knox, man, physical specimen. He's 18 years old. Oh, my goodness. Just think if he could develop a little bit. Got a jump shot. I didn't think he had that. And like you said, he can fly. That's a good pick. I think the New York Knicks might have a gem. But I think they're still a piece or two away from competing over there in New York. It's been a tough time, but they do have Fizdale, and I think that's big, a big step in the right direction.
I want to highlight someone, and it's someone that's very dear to my heart. Someone who's very close. He's my dog, my Spartan dog, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's having a phenomenal summer league season. He's been averaging 15 points per game with 5 boards a night, and he's had an impact on that team. Currently, I'm pulling up the summer league bracket. The Grizzlies play OKC Thunder. Deens, watch out. Well, they beat them, actually. Whoa.
It's just summer league, bro. Just summer league.
They're trash.
I don't even know who's on the.
So, yeah, obviously he's making an impact, and I'm looking forward to what his career looks like, especially his rookie season.
I can't believe some of those threes he was putting up were going in.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of used to it, though.
Yeah, you like to dog Jaren Jackson a little bit. I think he's better than you think he is, but obviously you got to watch him a little bit more closely at Michigan State. I think you thought he was a little bit inconsistent shooting-wise.
Yeah, and also I felt like he wasn't dominant every single game. Yes, he had his moments, and they were amazing, but it just wasn't there some nights. And that's, since I'm a loyal fan, I would watch, I would say, 90% of the games. And it wasn't there for, I would say, 60% of the games. And it was, that's why I'm so critical of him, because I've seen his worst and I see where he can get better. So, Jaren Jackson, I just want the best for you.
The player that I'm going to highlight for Summer League is someone who's been foreshadowed in his career prior to the NBA. And this guy, those of you that know me, know that I hate Duke. So I'm okay with this guy because he really was not that marquee guy for the Blue Devils, and he really didn't hurt us Tar Heels during the NCAA season. This guy, Wendell Carter Jr. for the Bulls, he was selected 7th. And this draft this year was unique because there were so many big men taken early.
Right.
Yeah, DeAndre and Marvin Bagley, of course, and a couple others. But Wendell Carter has shown out as good or better than the guys taken before him.
Right.
In his debut, he came out with 16 points, 9 rebounds, 5 blocks, an assist, and a steal. The whole season, he's been above 16, 17 points is what he's averaging. He's been very athletic. He was not as quick at Duke, but now he's very quick. He's a great perimeter defender that was in question earlier, but he looks like an all-around player that can score, and he's got a jump shot.
Yeah, he does. And he definitely is one of the more underrated players. People thinking, why is this guy Wendell Carter? We never heard of him. Why is he getting drafted? He went to Duke. We should know who this guy is. And like Wes said foreshadowed. I think he meant overshadowed.
Overshadowed, that's right.
But by obviously Marvin Bagley, who was drafted 2nd by the Kings. But Wendell Carter, he's out to prove, yeah, I can play too. And he definitely can play.
And he's actually been doing just as good, if not better, than Marvin Bagley in Summer League, which is good to see. I mean, he's proven himself. He finally gets his own little spotlight over there, and he's making it count.
Right, I agree. But I think Bagley's going to be a good player, too.
Oh,
I think this draft class is going to be something else. Oh, my goodness.
I could see it, and we still haven't seen Luka Doncic. He didn't play at all.
It's Doncic.
It's Doncic.
It's Doncic.
Don't you give me that.
Okay.
It's Luka Doncic. We haven't even seen him at Summer League. He's taking a break. Of course, he was a
well-deserved
MVP.
break.
Well-deserved, because he played a full, what you would call an NBA season, over 80 games in his season. So he's taking a break, not playing Summer League. But I'm sure he's going to be ready, and he's going to show out. This rookie class is special.
It really is. And I think one thing that's interesting about this rookie class is, like Wes, you mentioned, is the emphasis on the bigs. The fact that 75% of those top-tier guys this year were big men, and that's so unlike the NBA today. And the fact that they were still drafted high means these guys are big-time prospects. So watch out for them. I do want to highlight a couple guys. First, I'm going to start with the number 1 overall pick, DeAndre Ayton. And the one thing that I look for in a guy right off the bat is the eye test. And DeAndre Ayton, if there is a rookie that to pass the eye test in the history of the world, it's DeAndre Ayton. The man looks like a complete man, and he's 19 years old. Like, you forget, these guys are younger than us, fellas. Like, it's insane. So DeAndre Ayton averaging in the mid-teens a game and scoring and almost double-digit rebounds. This guy's going to be in the league a long time. But one guy that I do want to mention as well is Trae Young. And I think Trae Young's Summer League performance is going to be exactly what we get out of him in the NBA. He started like 3 for 18 from 3. And then in his last game, he made 7 of 12. So that's the kind of guy we're going to get. He's going to be streaky. And if he's able to eliminate a little bit of that streakiness, I think he's going to be one of the better point guards in the league. However, I don't think he can. He's still going to jack up all these shots. He needs to improve in his shot selection. But I think that he's not going to be one of the better point guards just because he's willing to take these crazy shots, and if he makes one, they're going to keep going up. So I'm worried about that trade for the Hawks.
And that's who Trae Young has been. Like that's who he's been. That's who he's being in the summer league, and it's fair to assume that that's who he's going to be in the NBA. And you see him jacking 3-pointers with his heels on the logo. And yeah, if you have that confidence, have that confidence, dude. But if you're not hitting, you got to know that you're not hitting. And that's what we saw at Oklahoma. He would shoot Oklahoma out of the game, and that he cannot bring that into the NBA.
I might disagree with you there. I think what we've seen is he's having to get a little bit comfortable. I think what separates him is why he got picked so early is his shooting ability is legit. Like you said, shooting with his heels on the logo. If he's comfortable there, he should take that shot. And the difference with that shot, a big challenge for three-point shooters in the NBA is getting a shot in the first place. If he's shooting from that deep, more than likely that shot is going to be open. So if he can make the shot, he should be taking those shots.
Right. And one thing that I want to kind of highlight is something that I found interesting. I threw a PP poll on our Instagram, obviously follow at the Prattle, and it was who's going to have a better career. And this was after Trae Young's second bad game. 88% of the people said Colin Sexton is going to have a better career than Trae Young. And that is because people in the media, people in the sports world are way too quick to judge these players. They're like, okay, Trae Young's going to be a bust because he played 2 games in the Summer League after leading the NCAA and scoring and assists. And all of a sudden you think he's going to be a bust because of 2 games in the Summer League? Come on.
Right, and as of late, I think there's going to be a shift in opinion. I don't know if you mentioned it, but the other night they came back from a 27-point deficit, and Trae Young clutched it out with a clutch pass to close out the game late. So, I mean, he's got the ability to lead and to make the right passes and to score and lead a team. Atlanta needs a leader, and I think it's possible that he can be that guy.
I definitely think so, too. If you had to pick one guy, Wes, out of this draft class, who's going to have the best career out of all these guys? Because it is a rich class.
I honestly think it's going to be Doncic.
Oh, Doncic?
Doncic.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a fair comparison or a politically correct one, but I've heard him called White Harden is what he's been called. He has an all-around ability. He's tall. He can shoot. And he's coming to a team that has a lot of talent and leadership from one of the all-time greats in Dirk Nowitzki. This Mavericks team can turn around very quickly with Doncic and the youth around him.
I agree. Rookies, people underestimate the destination for rookies. You look at a guy, I'm going to go way back, but Darko Milicic, right? He was drafted 2nd overall, and he was sandwiched in between LeBron and Carmelo. Going to a team in Detroit where you knew he wasn't going to play because they were going to win a title. So where you go, I'm not saying Darko's going to be a Hall of Famer if he doesn't go to Detroit, but I think he would have been a lot better without all that pressure and with being able to play a lot. So the fact that Doncic is able to go to the Dallas and learn under the tutelage of Dirk to have a
tutelage. Ooh.
Listen, I'm going to be a teacher, okay? Listen, I got all the words.
So teach him, young blood.
I will. I definitely will. But yeah, with Dirk, and then he obviously has the young talent of Dennis Smith, Harrison Barnes. What a great place for Doncic to go.
Yeah, you mentioned someone who I want to get into. Not like that.
Okay.
But are we ready to move on from rookies?
Okay.
You mentioned the name Melo, and the sweepstakes that we saw from LeBron was kind of anticlimactic. It was just a press release from his agency, and yeah, he went to LA. But the real summer sweepstakes is here. Where is Melo going to land?
Listen, my blatant opinion is wherever Melo lands, that team automatically is going to have a worse chance of winning the title.
So we should hope he goes to the Warriors then.
If he goes to the Warriors, he's just going to sit down on the bench. He's not going to play a single second. As he should. But that's not going to derail them. But if he goes to a team like Houston, I think that's bad for the Rockets.
Well, hold on. The Houston team that just lost two really good forwards.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. Losing guys like Ariza is big. But Carmelo Anthony doesn't have it. He doesn't know how to win. In the playoffs last year, when they needed him, the man chucked up shots, just like Trevor Ariza did. Sure, Trevor Ariza went 0 for 9 in the last game, but I don't trust Carmelo Anthony at this stage of his career to, A, take a backseat role, because that man's ego is bigger than anybody's in the NBA. Anybody's in the NBA. Dwayne Wade was able to take a bench role, but Carmelo Anthony can't come on. That's why I believe whichever team he goes to is going to be worse.
And something that you missed there is the coach in Houston, Mark D'Antoni, he said, quote, I quit because of Melo in New York. When Melo was in New York, he quit because of Melo. And he said that outright. So, yeah, I messed up his name there.
Mike D'Antoni? No, you're fine, Wes. But I think if anyone who can keep Carmelo in check, it's Chris Paul. Best friends, and just the fact that we saw last year, we saw James Harden, a very ball-heavy guard, more selfish player, you would say, right? And he came into that team and made it work. Who says that he can't do that with Melo? I'm confident in Chris Paul that he can bring his ego down.
So,
and say, hey,
so we said, did we say segments or did we say big three? I think we said segments only.
Will you be willing to sacrifice minutes for us so we can win? So we can have a chance of being Golden State.
I just don't think that we said it.
Carmelo is not the answer to beat Golden State. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But having that piece there instead of paying for a big Trevor Ariza contract, it helps the Rockets. They're having a great offseason. People are saying they lost two great forwards. And Luka Mbamute, correct? Yeah. And Trevor Ariza. That's not bad. Luka Mbamute is replaceable. He didn't really do much for that team. And I don't think they're willing to pay Trevor Ariza as much as he was wanting. So getting Melo isn't the total end of the world. Yes, he's not a great player. Maybe there's a risk of him coming into the team and ruining everything. But I think there's a medium risk and a medium reward. So that's why I'm not so... Carmelo, don't go to Houston. I don't want to be like that. I want to say, give it a chance. So,
my issue with Melo going to Houston, and I understand where you're coming from. I think Chris Paul is a good floor general. I think he can take control of players and leave less of that up to the coach. And if they are best buddies, as sources could say, or is that actually confirmed?
We'll go confirmed on this one.
Okay. We'll let the sources go. But if they are actually best buddies and Carmelo fits into the system and there's no issues and he doesn't argue over a bench role, you are still taking away touches from James Harden, Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, and putting them in Melo's hands. Like, that's worst come worst. You're giving up touches from easily your best players on the team and giving them to Melo, who has proven to be inconsistent and isn't the Melo he used to be, where he is a scorer. He can't get to the hoop. He doesn't play defense. I mean, I would much rather have the most touches as possible going to Harden, Capella, Paul, and their wing players like Eric Gordon.
Right, and the possessions that you get from Melo, if they're successful, it's rare, but they consume so much time and like it just kind of kills the motion of any offense. I understand that Houston is an iso ball offense, but yeah, right. It's something that would not. I don't see it working very well. He's not someone that can be open in the corner right away, just go ahead and take the shot. He's someone that you throw it down to, and he takes his 15 seconds to get his open shot, and usually bricks it. But let's switch it up from NBA. The NBA season is really over, so it's kind of a dead period in sports, and that's really unfortunate for us and for everyone who's a sports fan. Forget the World Cup. You got kicks and googles. We're not going to talk about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into the best sport on the planet, and that is football.
That is right, Wes, and specifically in the best sport ever. We're talking college football. And listen, this college football has a special place in my heart. College football is honestly probably my favorite sport to watch. There's something about the on campus, the absolute insane fan bases, something about the game that I just absolutely love. And I think we're going to touch a little bit on some of our early Heisman picks and maybe a little bit of the teams that we could see making the playoff. How's that sound, guys?
Right, in the playoff, it's something that I've really come to enjoy. I was a skeptic when they first introduced the playoff concept, but I think it's really produced some quality football at the end of the season. So we're going to go through and we're going to give you the teams that we think are legitimate contenders for making the playoff this coming year.
That's right. And we got to start with the elephant in the room. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll.
It's Alabama, and one thing that I do want to touch on quick, obviously you cannot leave Alabama out of any of these conversations.
Never.
But what's going to happen at quarterback? Because Nick Saban had some cojones.
Really. And one of the all-time coaching moves, I think the all-time coaching move in college playoff history.
Yeah.
It was incredible. He threw true freshman Tua Tagovailoa. I said that right. I promise you.
Really?
He threw him in there. First or second play, he threw an interception.
Right.
Nick Saban had the you-know-whats to put him back out there again, and Tua ended up winning them the national championship. Just unreal.
For sure. And the fact that Jalen Hurts had this amazing resume,
Right.
It shows, Pop, you were talking about it earlier, Nick Saban doesn't have any loyalty, and that's what you need as a big-time college football coach.
Right, but in Alabama's case, best man plays.
Best man plays.
And it's tough for, obviously, Jalen Hurts, but Tua, man, he's the real deal. That lefty, it doesn't, you know how when lefties throw, it looks kind of weird?
Not him.
It just doesn't.
Yes.
It's-
Remember this, PPs. I told Iggy that lefty just looks unnatural. It makes me feel weird inside. But Tua, his ball did not make me feel anything but just beauty in my heart, just football beauty.
And not only can he be a pocket quarterback, he's athletic. He can move.
run.
He can, and that's exactly.
And he's a tank.
Right, and he should play. It kind of sucks for Jalen Hurts, but I'm excited to watch him play. And obviously, Alabama is all of our number one team that's going to make the playoff.
Whew, I don't know. That's a sweeping statement with what Clemson has coming back. But one more thing to touch on with Tua. I remember watching that game. I was sick. I was very sick. And I texted to our group chat way back, right when we were started the Prattle back in January or February, or January it would be. And I said, I have never seen a prettier ball ever. Ever. Coming out of the hand of Tua, it was on point. The prettiest ball you ever see, and like you said, from a lefty, this dude is going to be something special for a very long time.
Right, and let's keep it in the SEC. That was an incredible national championship game, and what we've got in both of these teams, Alabama and Georgia, is two quarterbacks likely to come back. I think Tua will be the starter, and I think, of course, Jake Fromm, despite his recent injury, he will be back, and he will be very, very good. So two true freshmen last year that will come back and have national championship experience under their belt, SEC experience, two great coaches, and I think that's they're gonna duke it out in the SEC. And what we've seen in the past is that you really have to get either very close or win your conference in order to get into the playoffs. So let's talk about some other teams. Let's move around to a different conference. Get out of the SEC.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I do see the one thing with Georgia is they did lose their just two-headed monster of running backs. But yeah, they do. Good point, Pop. They do have the number one recruiting class in the nation.
They are infamous for having running backs just come in and come out. And they're just ready. They're there.
Exactly.
It's like they wear the same jersey number. And it's like it didn't even change.
No Sean Marino, Nick Chubb. Is that the same person? Probably. But yeah, to get away from the SEC just a little bit, like I touched on before, we have to talk about Clemson. And Clemson is a unique case, in my opinion, because they are similar to Alabama in the sense that they have a proven quarterback in Kelly Bryant. Literally is like a Deshaun Watson 2.0, and in my eyes, a little bit shiftier, not as good of an arm. But they have a quarterback coming in by the name of Dexter Lawrence, the number one rated quarterback, or number two after Justin Fields, who's going to Georgia, by the way. Oh my goodness, the rich get richer. But first of all, he's got great hair. He has really great hair.
He doesn't have that great of a face.
He doesn't. You're right, he doesn't. But holy cow, watching him play, it's going to be interesting to see who they trot out at quarterback. But does it really matter with that defensive line?
It's defensive line that just churns out NFL players.
Right. Exactly. The best defensive line in the nation, and I'm a Michigan fan, and Michigan is going to have a great defensive line as well. So I think both of those things in mind, I believe that Clemson is a lock for the college football playoff.
Right. I'm okay with calling them a lock. The ACC is a juggernaut and probably on par with the SEC.
Wrong.
Just kidding.
Watch
out for my Tar Heels. I'll tell you what, maybe we might win 3 games. Watch out for the Jumpman jerseys. Here's the X factor.
Here's the thing. If Clemson loses more than one game in the ACC, there's no way. And there's no way they make the college football playoff.
I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
If there's give them one game. If it's Florida State, you can count Notre Dame, you can count Miami. They can lose one game and they'll get in.
And we've seen it in the past couple of years them slip up against these smaller teams. We have.
Right, like Pitt. They lost to Pitt, for example. But however, when they did lose to a team like Pitt, they still made the playoff. That's the thing. Sure. Here's the thing. I think parity in college football is greater than you think. Yeah, you hear about Alabama dominating, but Alabama, more often than not, will lose a game in the regular season. Mm-hmm. So there are no undefeated teams unless it's a mid-major, for instance, like Western Michigan or Central Florida this past year. So I think if Clemson loses a game, which is definitely possible, I do think as long as they win the ACC championship game, that they are a lock for the college football playoff because there's more parity than we think.
Pop, I think you forget there was not an undefeated team in the playoff last year. UCF was the undefeated team, and they got snubbed. My national champion. So I think there's no problem if they win one game, especially if it's early on, and to a powerhouse like Miami or someone else in the ACC, it's fine. Lose a game, but you bounce back and you prove yourself, and the committee will put you in the playoff.
I don't think the ACC is as good as you think. There's not enough prestigious teams. Florida State just lost their head coach.
Right, okay. I mean, that's fine. It's still a good conference, especially at the top. It's top-heavy, but those teams at the top are very good, and they come to play when it's Clemson.
Fair. But I said if they lose more than one game, they're not making it.
More than one game?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think I don't think any team that loses 2 games has a... Sure, there could be on the outside looking in.
The committee would put Bama in with 2 losses.
Oh, God. I hope not. But I do agree with you. If Clemson loses 2 games, I don't see them making it. I think let's speed this up just a little bit. We're going to move to the Big Ten just a little bit. I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to tell you a team from the Big Ten. You tell me if they have any shot to make the college football playoff. We're going to start easy. Ohio State.
Yes.
Ohio State, obviously they retool. I remember when they were playing Michigan this past year, JT Barrett got hurt, and I'm like, wow, we might have a shot. They bring in Dwayne Haskins. He's like 10 times better.
Homie steps in. It's like the Cardell Jones over again.
Oh, my God. As a Michigan fan, you just start crying because there's another 4 years down the tubes. So I do think I agree with you that Ohio State definitely has a great chance. Pop, I'm going to go over to you. You were talking earlier about Wisconsin. And what is your reasoning why you think Wisconsin has a shot of making the playoff?
Best offensive line in the Big Ten. That's honestly the only thing they have going for them. Yes, they're solid. They always have a strong run game, but on the perimeter, they're really slow. And it's been like that's been Wisconsin style football for the past 3-4 years. We've seen pound it, pro style, and I don't know if it can hang in the Big Ten, especially in that championship game. We've seen that they make it to the championship game because the west side of the Big Ten is not good. Well, they're not. I wouldn't say they're not good. The East is way better, and it just makes an easier road for Wisconsin. But I don't think they have a great chance.
That's what I was going to say is the only reason why I say they have a little bit of a chance is because they're on that weaker side of the conference. People forget, though, about Jonathan Taylor, their running back. The man tore it up as a freshman last year, breaking Adrian Peterson's freshman record for rushing. And so to pair it with that great offensive line, they can run the rock with anybody. However, they have quarterback play out of Alex Hornibrook. The man is trash. He has that floppy left-handed passes that are just ugly. I mean, it's true. It really is true.
What they call that, it's a catchable ball, which just means he throws it really soft.
Right, yeah. Oh, I love playing with Hornibrook. Why? Because my hands, it's like a pillow.
And let's hope they have a decent tight end because that's all that he'll throw to.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. For sure. So I do think that Wisconsin has a slight chance. What about Michigan?
No. Sorry. Nope. 8-5 again.
Oh, man. The reason I say no as the biggest Michigan fan I've ever met, yes, I've met myself, is that their schedule is so hard. Like, they have the toughest schedule in the nation. They play Notre Dame, Michigan State, and Ohio State all away. They play Penn State and Wisconsin. They're both at home, but still they have to play all of those teams. What the heck?
Right, and I think that contributes to what we talked about with Wisconsin. I really do not think they have great chances because the team that comes out on top in the Big Ten East, the team that has to go through Michigan, Michigan State, and Ohio State, the one that comes out on top is the one that gets it in the playoff no matter what.
Right, exactly.
The only way, I don't see them going through at all. Zero chance.
Michigan,
zero.
even with Shea.
That offense. It's the offense. It's not the quarterback. It's the offense. We've seen Harbaugh try so many different things. It just doesn't work. It's his offense.
If Shea is really the talent that everyone is saying that he is, I think there's a strong possibility that this could be the breakout year for Harbaugh and the Wolverines. Because it's always been said for the past 4 years, Harbaugh just hasn't gotten his quarterback yet. Once he gets his quarterback, we'll be fine. And Shea Patterson is the name. He's the guy, and he has to be the guy this year. Or I think Harbaugh got to be out of here.
Right, and here's another thing. Last year, Notre Dame was 10-3. They beat people early in the season. Mm-hmm. At the end of the season, they're like, that beating Notre Dame doesn't really matter anymore. I can see that happening to Michigan. If Michigan goes into South Bend, beats them handily, but then Notre Dame ends up going 8-5. No one's gonna care. Yes, they had the toughest preseason schedule, but at the end of the season, when it matters, how everyone plays out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Pop, I want to go to your point. As a Michigan fan, it's not the offense, it's not the pieces, because we've got guys. We got Donovan Peoples-Jones, we got Tariq Black, we have Shea Patterson, Chris Evans, Cron Higdon. I can name the entire offense because they're good, but it's the style of offense. Today's college football, NFL, cannot be played the way Harbaugh wants to play it, unless you have a phenomenal offensive line, which they do not. They're like Wisconsin. They try to pound the ball. It's 3rd and 8, and they're running the ball. Okay, why are you doing that? Or it's 2nd and 9 running the ball. So I believe they have the pieces. if they're able to mold it to Shea Patterson, if they're able to mold it, get the ball in hands like Donovan Peoples-Jones and Tariq Black on the outside, then I think they have a shot. But that being said, I don't think they have a legitimate shot. I give them maybe a 5% chance of making the playoff this year. Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
Let's move west. I'm okay with not talking about Michigan State because I don't see them getting into the playoff.
Ooh.
Let's move west. I really like.
I'm biting my tongue so hard right
I really like. I really like not Michigan State. I like Oklahoma and I like Washington out west. How about you, TCB?
I think it's Oklahoma and everybody else down there in the Big 12. People are saying, oh, life without Baker Mayfield. You have Kyler Murray, the best athlete, if not one of the best athletes in all of college football, drafted 9th overall in the MLB draft. I mean, come on. That's insane. Okay. So, and the fact that he's still playing is a testament to his football skills as well. So I think it's Oklahoma and everybody else in the Big 12. However, I do see teams like TCU, like West Virginia, teams like that, especially West Virginia with a very good quarterback in Will Grier.
Will Grier, my homie.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Maybe. Oh, and then to go out west, to go to your point in Washington, I do think Washington is a good team. I just don't think that conference is formidable enough for them to make too much headway in the college football playoff landscape.
That's true. The Pac-12 is brutal. They have a terrible habit of just beating each other every other weekend so that everyone has 2 losses. It's really bad over there in the Pac-12. I want to talk about Kyler Murray a little bit more. Oklahoma has so much confidence that you might remember this. Last year in the semis of the college football playoff, they threw to him down the stretch late in the game. He was out on the wide out. They threw to him. It only got like a yard. But they had so much confidence in him as an athlete that they were willing to throw to him in the college football playoff. He's a quarterback. And what else with him is he got drafted. He could have taken a $500,000 signing bonus to go to the MLB right away, but he decided to stay. He knows that Oklahoma believes in him as a quarterback to come out here and replace the number 1 overall pick and to win the Big 12.
Back to Wes's point about the Pac-12 beating each other. I feel like it's the same way in the I'm blanking.
Big 12.
Big 12. Texas, number 3, third 2018 recruiting class. Second-year coach, Todd Herman. They say a coach that comes in the second year does their best. They have one of their best seasons. I think they went, I'm not sure what their record was last year because they didn't do very hot. But I think they turn it around. They got 17 4-star recruits. That's insane. I think if anyone's a competitor in the Big 12, it's Texas. To me, it's just way too early to say it's Oklahoma and everyone else because I feel like it's every other week it's TCU beating another team and then TCU losing to another team. It's just, it's just way too early for me to say Oklahoma's a lock in the college football playoff.
Okay, so those are our teams that we like for the college football playoff. So we got Bama, we've got Georgia, we've got Ohio State, we've got Clemson, we've got Oklahoma, we've got Washington as our favorites. That doesn't even fill all the spots really. So we'll see. It's 6, but it doesn't really fill completely. Let's move on. Just a last taste of college football coming up. Very quickly, give me your pick for the Heisman very early.
I don't know. I need to think.
Right, okay. I want to go with 2. First, I want to take Will Grier. I think he, Wes, I'm
Go ahead,
sorry,
take my
your boy, right? The man is I think he is the best returning quarterback in all of college football. And West Virginia has a very potent offense in the Big 12. And if the Big 12 is known for one thing, it's the lack of defense.
Lack of defense and a lot of yards.
A lot of yards, a lot of points. And I think that bodes well for Will Grier and his stats. And I'm going to take Will Grier. And I want to take my dark horse pick because I bleed blue. Maize and blue. It's got to be Shea Patterson. The man has all of the tools necessary. We just have to see if he can produce it on the field.
All right, yeah, I'm going to piggyback on the Will Grier. That's been my pick for a little bit. I really think that offense, that conference, and Will all combined to create what's going to be an unbelievable stats year for Will over at West Virginia. He's going to have a lot of numbers that are going to look really good to the Heisman voters. And I think they're capable at West Virginia to get to that 8-win, 9-win mark that you kind of need in order to win a Heisman. We saw it with Lamar Jackson. They weren't really the top dog when Lamar won the Heisman. I think West Virginia can get it to the point where Will can be recognized as the best player in the country and not have to be in the playoff. He's going to put up unreal numbers, a lot of quick receivers, good offensive line, and man, he's got an arm. Love that man.
I agree. I do notice that the better your team does, the better chance you have.
That's
I
true.
mean, there's definitely a correlation there. There are outliers. So that would be the one thing with Will Grier and honestly with Shea Patterson is I don't think Shea Patterson is going to be on a team that wins 11 or 12 games, obviously. So I think that is going to be the detriment. That's why I think you could see a guy like Tua be in the mix.
Sure.
So it definitely has to do with your team as well. Pop, what do you got?
I'm going to say this. I'm not 100% confident who it will be, but in the past decade, there has been 8 quarterbacks that have won the Heisman. The other 2 were running backs Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram, Alabama running backs. Alabama doesn't have a running back, a huge name running back like that. It's got to be a quarterback, whoever it might be. It might be Trace McSorley. It might be the guy out of Ohio State. It's up for grabs, honestly. These are all dynamic players. The guy out of Oklahoma, like we're saying, we're hyping him up. It's up for grabs. We just got to wait it out. It's too early for me. It's too early.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that I kind of don't love all that much about the Heisman Trophy is it has turned into a kind of a quarterback award instead of the best player. But the quarterback is the most important position on the field for sure. But PP's, that was just a taste of our college football.
No.
Right, yeah,
Look
exactly.
it up. Great taste of
It
football.
was a great. And let me tell you what, it was fun to talk about. Getting that first little football out on the air has been awesome. And with that awesome college football talk, PPs, we're going to wrap up this ep. Thanks again for tuning in. And guys, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Google Play. We're all over the place, so you never miss an ep, guys. Peace out.